This past June 5th, Bandcamp has continued with a monthly tradition of waiving all fees for 24 hours to allow artists, especially ones who are impacted by COVID-19, to gain full profits, 100% of profits. I think this is very important because a lot of these artists can't tour right now, and touring is a main source of their income. As somebody who's played in bands and received income from playing live, it's super important that these bands are able to tour, and they're missing out on a lot of opportunities. It's not only getting money from the venue, but also being able to sell T-shirts, sell albums live, and just get their music out to the public. So I definitely support this, and I definitely did pick up some music. I originally wanted to talk about the Deftones, but that can wait. I think this is a little more relevant. So here's some of the stuff I picked up on Bandcamp, and check it out if you'd like to or not. The first one was Coco Vera, which is a post-punk alternative band from Los Angeles. Why did I pick this up? Because this band features Alejandra Robles Luna, who's the drummer from Les Butcherettes. I love Les Butcherettes, one of my favorites newer bands. I saw them live open for L7 last year, and she killed it on a drum. She was amazing. And so I think it's freaking awesome that she has another creative outlet. Her Les Butcherettes bandmate Terry Genderbender does appear on this album to sing a song, and it's a fun alternative post-punk art punk album. So check it out. The link will be below. The next album I decided to get was one I've known about for a couple of years, was Right On by Jenny Lee Lindbergh, who is the bass player and one of the songwriters in Warpaint. Warpaint is a cool post-punk gothic rock band from Los Angeles, California. They put out 3 awesome records, and her album is cool. It's a continuation of that. Although she's a bass player, it's not just her soloing and playing like Billy Sheehan type stuff, but it's her writing tracks that can be influenced by goth or college rock or post-punk. It's cool and it's worth checking out, so definitely do it. I also picked up GT's Chromosome, which we reviewed in episode 2, and their self-titled album, both great. I had a fun time, and I appreciate Tim introducing me to them. They're an awesome new band playing a blend of lo-fi, punk rock, and Neanderthal rock, as they called it, and they're going to do some great things once they're able to tour again. Hopefully they could do an international tour and come to the US and give us some props for reviewing them. Just kidding, guys. The final 2 things I bought on Bandcamp were Trick Finger. Trick Finger is one of the many side projects of Red Hot Chili Peppers guitar player John Frusciante, who's heavily influenced by electronic music. I admit there was a little bit more interest in the 2 new Trick Finger albums that came out this year because now that Frusciante's back in the Chili Peppers. I haven't been a fan of his solo music in recent years, but I was a huge fan of his past work, especially all those albums he put out in 2004 with whether just him or with Josh Klinghoffer, or Josh Klinghoffer and Joe Lally in Ataxia. And these albums were focused, straightforward, and have some really good stuff on both of them. So check them out if you like electronic music, and or if you like kind of that Aphex Twin and a little bit of guitar elements to it as well. So it's cool. Also, what I picked up recently was separate from Bandcamp, but to talk about was the new Deerhoof album, which is called Future Teenage Cave Artist. It's thematic. It has almost like a rock opera type feel to it, like The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway or Quadrophenia, but not quite so intense or blatant. It's cool. Deerhoof uses all their trademark weirdness and quirkiness and on-time signatures, just very experimental, creative stuff. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist put out an album called Alfredo. It's cool. Freddie Gibbs is a kind of a throwback, more modern rapper, and that his style is more old school. There's definitely modern production on here, but it's cool. It isn't so drowned in auto-tune. It's worth checking out, especially if you grew up with 90s and aughts hip-hop like I did. So that's cool as well. So what's happening for Bandcamp next up is, rather than do the monthly fee wave, on June 19th, which is this Friday, they're doing something in honor of Juneteenth. They're going to give all proceeds, all their revenue, to the NAACP Defense Fund, which is really important now for social justice and everything that's unfortunately been going on in the country the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, where we should be more united as a nation and as a species. And just there's tough stuff going on, so it's cool they're going to give to help out people who may have been in a tough situation. And it's definitely worth an opportunity to delay me purchasing any music and putting it off till next week. And what will I be buying? Well, a bunch of stuff, or at least I'll give you a couple of items I'll be buying. The first is going to be Koriki, which is the new album from Ian MacKaye, who was in Minor Threat and Fugazi. His wife, who he played with in the Evens, I forget her name, Amy Ferreira maybe, I missed it, but you could Google it. And Joe Longley, who also played in Fugazi and Ian MacKaye, and with Josh Klinghoffer and John Frusciante in Ataxia in 2004. They put out two albums that were very influenced by dub reggae and Public Image Limited. And I'm curious if his bass playing, which can be very dub and reggae influence, is going to be prevalent on this album. And I'll buy a new project for Colin Masterson, who is a bass player and New York producer in the metal scene. He plays in Dysrhythmia and Behold the Octopus, among many other things. I believe he's produced Piran, who has a new album coming out in a couple of weeks. So I'm curious what he's doing. I forget the name of it, it escapes me, but these tracks are longer, apparently more dark metal, death metal, and there will probably be some jammy and experimental elements to it, being 12-minute tracks. Dwa Saleh is an artist from Minnesota. She is or considers herself non-binary, so they, I should be saying. Their album came out, or EP came out recently this weekend. It's called Rosetta. I'm a big Sister Rosetta Tharpe fan, and it is named after that. Sister Rosetta Tharpe was the first true guitar hero, and just a musician in American culture who doesn't get the recognition she deserves. As Hugh Laurie said, what do you mean she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It took you this long to put her in there? She's great. And this album by Dwa Saleh is very experimental. It takes different genres. It's not only hip hop, but there's pop elements to it. From what I've heard so far, it's a little bit of Kate Bush in there too, and that's cool when artists go that route or just don't stick to one genre. So those are some of the picks of that I will be purchasing on Bandcamp, or I did purchase. Check it out, and feel free in the comments to write about what you'll be purchasing or what you think is cool that's new. And so until our next episode, which features a very new release and something that's very cool, I'm Method Mike A. Be good, be safe, and be kind.